I am Ray, and I'm about to destroy your negative thoughts. Here's the one thing that keeps everybody stuck. Don't do it. Don't talk back to your negative thoughts. Because the more you give them reality, the more real they become. So when you react to your negative thoughts as if, oh, they're my enemy, I have to talk back and I have to beat them up because they're beating me up. Like having a bully in your mind just keeps punching you in the face. So you gotta feel like you can stand up for myself. So you kind of argue with your negative thoughts. Don't do that. We have to understand what we are doing underneath the surface. For instance, if we find ourselves arguing with our thoughts, there's a few things that we're saying. We're saying our thoughts have power over us, because if they didn't, we wouldn't feel the need to argue with them. It's because we feel like, oh, our negative thoughts are a threat, so I gotta get into fight mode. We gotta fight. But all that does is feed your negative thoughts even worse. Because through your energy, through your attention, you give them life, and they grow. And the more you fight with your thoughts, the worse they get, and the more powerless you become, because you've been giving your power away. For instance, if you get cut off in traffic, and you get triggered, and you get angry, you start honking your horn, honk honk. Hey you, get out of here so I can beat you to death. Don't do that. Well, then you just gave that person power over you by allowing them to get you emotional. By allowing them to live in your head rent-free. The moment you react emotionally to whatever somebody else does, they control you. Another thing that happens underneath the surface is that we're labeling the situation as a problem. Meaning, if we fight with our thoughts, we're saying our thoughts should not be. They have to go away. And until they go away, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be at peace. How can I live at peace with these thoughts? But the thoughts are not the problem. It is the story we get stuck in that is the problem. If you label and judge something as a problem, every time it appears in your life, you're going to enter into resistance. And you're going to feel frustrated and you're going to suffer because you do not want this to be happening. But a lot of the times, you don't control your thoughts. Thoughts just come and go. The problem is that we label and judge certain thoughts as bad, so when they arise, we feel bad. It is our judgment of the negative thoughts that cause us to resist them and ultimately feel bad about it. And that is where our energy is being drained. We get caught in this psychological drama, reinforced by the idea of, I'm struggling with negative thoughts, I really want to get rid of them, I hate this. And that is rooted in our judgment. Once you take away the judgment, the thoughts stop becoming bad. And this brings us to secret number 1. New pen. Here we are. Oh, non-judgment. Think about how this works for a moment. When you stop judging your negative thoughts, you have no reason to resist or react to them. Why? Because it was your judgment that was causing you to react negatively. Because there's no reaction, there's no emotional response. And because there's no emotional response, you're not feeding the thoughts anymore. It is our emotion that gives things power. They say emotions are energy in motion. And so what happens is that when you take away the fuel source for the negative thoughts, they go away on their own over time. Because they only feed off your energy. How else are they going to feed? If you can learn how to become indifferent towards your negative thoughts, neutral, they lose all their power over you. It is only because we take our negative thoughts personally that we react in a negative way. Now here's the next secret. Looky here. Negative thoughts. What we just talked about was being neutral. Now we're going to focus on here. You learn to transmute the negativity into positivity. So not only do negative thoughts, they don't destroy you anymore, they actually make you more powerful. But you must learn the alchemy of transmutation. And all that means is taking something that is negative and reframing it to serve you. Changing the story in your mind about what you are experiencing. Because, well, it's the story that is making us miserable. It's not the actual experience. If you really pay attention, you'll see that all the suffering in your life comes from the psychological drama that you tell yourself. Think about this the next time you stub your toe. You stub your toe and there's pain, but you react negatively to the pain and get caught in the psychological story. So then you have to go kick the dog with your other good toe because you're so upset, so angry. This should not have happened to me. Who put this coffee table here? Who's responsible? We go and search for somebody responsible for our pain, and then we take it out on them. The dog. I know I should have never let them do interior design. Dogs are not meant for this. But when you practice meditation and slowing down and not reacting, what happens is that you can stub your toe and you just look at the pain and it's just, there it is. There's no reaction to it. And that takes away the suffering. There's still going to be pain, but the bite out of the experience is taken out. Like, you might still get bitten by a snake, but it's no longer venomous. As the Buddha once told, the parable of the 2 arrows. The first arrow we get hit with is the pain of being in a body. But the second arrow we inflict upon ourselves by our reaction to the first. It's our reaction to the pain. It's our reaction to the unfavorable experience that causes all the problem. Because when you change the story in your mind about the thing that you're experiencing, that determines the way you react to it. It determines your emotional response. Your happy chemicals are made from within. You are the source. And you get to choose whether you want to make happy chemicals or sad chemicals by how you choose to react to things. Because, it's pretty simple. You focus on what is negative, you're going to feel bad. You focus on what is good, you're going to feel good. And Life 101. Here is a little story that illustrates this point of reframing your negative thoughts. Imagine one day you're walking on a nice forest path, and there are flowers and butterflies everywhere. What a wonderful day. Until you hear something ominous in the distance. And you're looking around and you're thinking, what could this be? Is this death approaching me? And then you see it. A big hulking figure coming out from the distance. And it's just this menacing thing, flailing its arms up and down, yelling at the top of its lungs, and it's headed straight toward you. And immediately you get triggered into fight or flight. Now you're wondering, should I run away? Should I attack this thing? Until it's close enough and you see what the true nature of this thing is. That is, it's Frankenstein. So Frankenstein is standing before you. You're like 6 feet tall. Yelling and screaming, and you're just there taking it. You think about punching him. You think about running away. You think about just staying and being frozen. But none of these things will work because Frankenstein is trying to tell you that your house is on fire. And this is what negative thoughts are. Nothing more than our body's survival mechanism, turning on the red lights, alarm bells, saying, hey, look, you need to address this, you need to address this, you need to address this. Pay attention. And our negative thoughts do get our attention. The problem is our ego misinterprets it, takes it personally, and then runs itself into the ground. Negative thoughts are nothing more than a sign that there is underlying trauma that needs to be addressed. Once you heal the trauma, the alarm bells go off. It's like a sickness. You get the flu. When you get the flu, you're going to have a bunch of symptoms, and you're going to feel like crap. But once the flu is gone, the symptoms go away. Negative thoughts are just a symptom. So we have to start reframing the story in our mind. We stop taking things personally, and we start questioning. We enter into a mode of curiosity, asking ourselves, I wonder what these negative thoughts are revealing about me. You don't even have to go all the way yet and say, oh, well, these thoughts are helping me. They're helping me, even though you feel like they're destroying you. All you need to do in the beginning is be open to the question, how is this helping me? And the more you get comfortable questioning, being curious, the easier it becomes, the more natural it becomes. And over time, the answers will become more and more obvious. Because you're no longer, hemorrhaging energy, feeling bad about yourself, getting stuck in self-destructive loops and downward spirals. Now you're on a mission to discover the root of the problem. This adds order into the equation, so you're not lost in the ocean of chaos, just drowning in the madness of your mind. Not anymore. Now you're on a quest. You like quests? Go forth. You can see, once you change your attitude toward the situation, your reaction to it changes. So you're no longer fighting and being afraid of your negative thoughts like you would the crazy Frankenstein. You begin listening for the underlying message. And well, you begin forgiving Frankenstein for being such a bad communicator, because it can't help it. Your negative thoughts are just the best way your body knows how to tell you something is wrong. It gets the job done, because its job is to get our attention. But we just mess it up. So we realize that our negative thoughts are not attacks, even though they feel like attacks. It's like a flat earth. You go outside, ooh, what's going on? The earth is flat. I know it. I see it. That's how I look at it. And so, too, your negative thoughts appear to be attacks on the surface. Oh, I'm being attacked by the enemy. The demons. They're after me. When will I be saved? It's just a story. When you let go of the story, ooh, you wake up. Because before, we were living in a nightmare. Everything is going wrong. It's all wrong. And then you wake up, you wake up, and you wake up. You snap out of the hypnosis. And you realize, oh, wait a minute. Everything's good. Everything is neutral. Life is just almost like a blank slate. There are rules, there are foundations, but we are what make life what it is. Through our minds. There is one earth, but there are billions of worlds, and we're all living in our own little worlds, based off the information in our mind. The stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs, the identities that we take on. And guess what? The great news. You can change all of it. And you can be whoever you want to be. If your imagination can think it, you can become it. The only limitations that we have is our own imagination. Because think about it. Reality is being filtered through us. So whatever information you got going on in here, and whatever memory is stored in your body, reality is being filtered through that and being projected out onto the world. So we don't experience reality as it is. We experience reality as we are. Wow. And so if you don't like the reality that you're experiencing, all you got to do is change yourself. Change the information in here. And reality will begin to reflect that change. And we have to understand that negativity, the darkness, and positivity, the light, they're just two opposites of the same one thing. One cannot be better than the other. They are both equally necessary for the wholeness, for the balance of everything. Meaning there's an infinite abundance of negativity everywhere all the time, and there's an infinite abundance of positivity everywhere all the time. It's not about what you think is true. It's about what you choose to focus on. If you look out on the news and you see the world and it seems like it's going down the toilet and it's World War III, oh my God, we gotta prepare, let's buy a bunker. Even if you bought a bunker, you can't run away from yourself. It's all just an illusion. It's all just a dream. But we call the dream the real world. And so, well, I'm not going to change your mind about it. Not my problem. But when you start looking for the good in all things, it becomes natural. I am not concerned or worried about anything in this life. Because what's the point? First of all, I know that I can transmute any negative situation into something positive, so there's nothing to worry about. And plus, naturally, I'm focused on all that is good, so there's nothing to worry about. And really, it's just a habit. We've been habitually conditioned to focus on negativity, to focus on the things that are wrong in this life. And well, the more you do it, the more you get stuck. So stop watching the news. Stop ruminating on negative things. And at least try to practice focusing on what is good. Because don't you want to live a good life? Think about it like a test. A test of life. 100 questions. Let's say during your day you focus on 30% things that are positive, which means you focus on 70% things that are negative. This equals, you didn't see anything. 30% positive, 70% negative. That's a 30 out of 100. That is a failure. What does this mean? It means your life is going to suck. Sorry. Try again next time. And that's really all it is. If your life sucks, this is why. You have just been conditioned to habitually focus on what is negative more than what is good. And a lot of that isn't even our fault. We just experience trauma, go through life thrown in the deep end. We're trying to figure it all out, can't figure it out, feeling bad all the time. You stay stuck. But all you have to do is step by step, day by day, inch by inch, begin getting this number up. We have to understand that negative feelings will create negative thoughts, and negative thoughts will create negative feelings. So we can easily get trapped in this feedback loop of death. We're focusing on negativity all the time, feeling bad all the time, engaging in self-destructive behavior because we don't like ourselves, we don't like our life. And all of that is changed in one fell swoop. The moment you change your attitude toward life, once you reframe your mindset to focus on what is good, well then you exponentially become more able to take your attention away from all that is wrong, until the only thing you focus on is what is good. And guess what? The more you focus on what is good, the more you're going to feel good. The less you're going to feel negative thoughts. Can you feel thoughts? Perhaps. You see, my advice to you, although we've been cooking, I want to leave you with one important, perhaps the most important lesson of your life, of your whole life. You better listen. Listen here. Make this a priority in your life, for God's sake. Stop focusing on other things. Focus on feeling better more often, and like 90% of your problems will go away. Because at the end of the day, all we want to do is feel good. Negative thoughts make us feel bad. Oh, well, we got to get rid of those. But the thing is, as I mentioned, the more you start feeling better more often, the less negative thoughts you will have. So do more things you love. Things that bring you joy. Things that bring you peace. Things that make you happy. Make a list and check it twice, so that every time you feel bad, you can just turn to the list and say, oh yes, I like doing this, and I like doing this, I like going for walks, and pina coladas, and dancing in the rain, which will instantly, or near instantly, lift you out of a negative state, preventing the negative thoughts from snowballing out of control. But the worst thing you can do is just sit around and do nothing. If you don't do something, your negative thoughts are just going to fester, and they're going to fester, and then you're going to be pooped. You do not want to be pooped, so go and do something you love. Or go do some exercise. Go take action. Do something. The more you fill your day with things you enjoy, the more effortless life becomes. You make this a priority in your life, you stop listening to what society says. You gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and if you don't do this, you're not a good person. And in order to be a good person, you gotta do this. Forget about it. Screw them. This is your life. Do what you want. But have the wisdom to know that, well, temporary pleasure isn't going to make you happy. It's not going to bring you joy. It's not going to bring you love. You're better than this. You know. Just be smart about it. I'm not saying, oh, we'll just, eat some candy and go to the movies. I'm saying pay attention to the things you actually enjoy doing. Things that give you meaning and purpose. And just do more of that. And guess what? If you were to just focus on this, all the things that don't really matter will just fade into the background and back into the void. Meaning you won't be focused so much on dealing with your negative thoughts and fighting them and trying to figure it all out. You're focused on living your best life. Because you don't need to fight the darkness. It's like throwing punches in a dark room and expecting something to happen. You're going to beat up the darkness? You just exhaust yourself to no end. But in a single moment you turn on the lights, the darkness evaporates instantly. Focus on where you're going, not on where you have been. Life is viewed through the windshield, not through the rearview mirror. And this is what I teach in Monster Mind Mastery. If you want to make the bad thoughts go away, check it out. Link is below. I am Ray. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.